Hi.
Hello? Oh, there. Now you can hear us.
Oh, good.
OBS being lovely, of course.
Nice.
Welcome. You should be able to
Hello.
hear Cory too, I think.
I sure hope so.
Yep. Okay. He's coming through.
Hooray.
Welcome back. Here for another Thursday stream at the MARZ Project. We're going to be doing some more Blender stuff today, and probably next week as well. I think we're going to be missing Cory, but for now, we're going to jump right back into doing some Blender stuff. So I'll switch over to Cory here.
Not getting it now, so
He's not getting it.
I hope this looks cool.
There's the real Cory.
Oh, God. We made a Blender Cory.
We did. Take photos of someone and essentially scan them in and make a model from pictures, which is really cool. And it takes like 2 minutes. So here you can see I've got the whole 3D model. It's we didn't spend very much time on it, and I didn't get any photos of the back of Cory's head, so it didn't really do it that well in the back. Yeah, it's pretty cool. They come with like custom shape keys and stuff like that. It's the name of it is Face Builder. Yeah. So definitely worth checking out. We were just kind of experimenting with stuff. We thought it was pretty funny.
They were kind of like spitballing about like kind of weird projects, and I suggested modeling my head as a soft body, and this is as far as we got.
I was like, oh, I can do that real quick.
and
I'm sorry, guys. I forgot to add the sound to the Blender window. Lovely. I'm very smart. Thank you for letting us know. Let me fix that. Actually, I'm going to fix that by going in here. And, yeah, that was my bad. I set it up last minute and forgot to turn on the sound. There we go. There, now you should be able to hear me and see it at the same time. Yeah, so anyways, I was saying that these are shape keys. You can essentially animate with these the same way. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. So I think today we're going to be talking a little bit more about, well, getting into animation stuff and then just starting with some character, like some pretty basic character animation. So I guess over to Cory and his Blender. So let's see here.
I got myself a cube.
There we go. Sorry about the missing sound. My bad. I didn't say anything important anyway, so we'll go over it all again. Cool. Okay. See if everything's working. Yeah. It's kind of funky when you have two computer screens, two cameras, and all coming into one switcher with, a whole deal. I was even thinking about setting up a third camera today, but
All right.
I changed my mind because it was complicated enough as it was.
This is yet another reason why it's nice to be not running the tech stuff and being the talent at the same time.
Let's see. I'm gonna turn I don't know. Let me know if Cory's too loud, or you can see my. Oh well, here's the ATEM Mini control software. Get a little behind the scenes action.
Wow.
I don't want to turn Cory. Ooh, not that far. There we go.
How is that?
That should work good.
Hooray.
Trying to balance this both out. They turn on. Let me monitor this real quick. Testing 1 2. Okay, I can hear myself. Are you there, Cory?
Mm-hmm.
All right, sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's do this. So let's go for a new. Start from a brand new blend file, and I think I'm just gonna hit A to select everything and X to delete. So we have a totally clean slate. And then to start with, when you're doing characters, it's great to have a reference, because scale's a big thing. Am I echoing? I sound like I'm echoing. Testing 1 2. No, okay.
My feed's clean, but who knows?
Okay. Maybe just because I'm hearing myself back. Let me turn off my monitoring. Okay, let's try that. We may have to turn on a plugin here, or an add-on. So if you go up to Edit and Preferences, then it should come up with this window here, and then kind of in the very center, there's the Add-ons button. And what we want to look for is Rigify. This is RIGIFY. There's a little search bar up at the top there. And then let's check that on. And it should save automatically, but I like to double check and save, because sometimes I feel like it doesn't auto-save. I'll just do that just in case. And what that's going to do is give us the ability to just straight up add a skeleton, essentially. Normally, you can only add one bone, but with this, it allows you to add like a whole armature. So if you Shift A and then go to Armature, and then from there, you go to Basic and Basic Human. There's a meta rig human, but he has too many bones. It has like a whole face rig and stuff that we don't want to have to deal with. So you just do Basic Human, and there we have a perfect reference of like a 6 foot tall person to start our character based on. So we know exactly like how tall and kind of proportions and stuff. Of course, you can do it however you want, but this is a good like starting point. And so with this, you can start adding on, building your character around this. So from here, probably want to start with a new mesh. So
That's in that Shift A menu.
yeah, Shift A. And then I guess we can talk a little bit about sculpting, since we'll do a face real quick. So let's actually start with a cube. And what we're going to do is go over we can do it this way. So in the menu over here, there's a little blue modifier property. It's a little blue wrench icon. And if you go in there and do add modifiers, and then what we want to find is the Subdivide Surface. And essentially all that's going to do is, if we bring this value up, it's just going to add levels of detail to this cube and essentially make it a circle. And this is usually a good starting point for a sculpt.
Like not too many faces or whatever.
Yeah, I'd say about like 3, or if you're going a little more detailed, you could do 4, but I think 3 is a good starting point for us.
Okay.
And then what you can do is there's this little arrow right here, and that drops down, and you can hit apply. And now if we go into tab into edit mode, you can see that it's like it's an editable object. If we didn't do that, like if I Control Z and go back to where the modifier is there, and I hit tab, you can see it's still a square. So
yeah, okay, I get what's going on.
So
it's like a live applied effect kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, get it.
So then with that, we should probably tab into edit mode and grab this, and make sure you keep it centered. So make sure only to move it on the Z axis. And
can you remind me the commands for all that? Because I think
yeah, if you, so
I'm in edit
select
mode.
all, yep, and then S to scale, and then G to grab, and then you just hit,
Okay, oh, yeah.
yeah, and then you
like
probably want to
clicked, I
hit
think.
Z, and that will lock it onto the Z axis when you move it.
Okay, cool. So let me see if I can repeat those steps. Yeah, and then cool.
Yeah, and so that's the start of the head, and we can go in and sculpt this a little more just to kind of get familiar with the sculpt tools.
Can you remind me how to like pan my view?
Oh yeah, shift and middle mouse button.
There it is.
That one?
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't get it didn't seem like it was working right before. Thank you.
Yeah, and then so 3 is your side view, so you can kind of, and then I like to turn on the toggle X-ray to see through, so I can kind of see where the bone is. So that top bone is obviously the head bone. So, and then there's 2 neck bones. So you can sort of position this about, where that head bone is.
Yeah. Where's the toggle? Sorry, I missed that.
Up here, it's also
Yeah,
Alt
see
Z
it.
is the shortcut. There you go.
Cool. The head bone's connected to the head bone.
Exactly.
The head bone's connected to the head bone.
So one thing with this, when we can change it, you see how like this bone kind of goes all the way up. You sort of want that very tip of the bone there to be close to the top of it. So some people
scale
like
it
to
down.
put,
I should like maybe scale this down, or
yeah, you can scale it down a little bit, and then kind of reposition it. Of course, you can modify the skeleton to fit your character.
sure.
But this is a good way to figure out the decent proportions and stuff like that.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, cool. And as long as you've like made sure that it's centered, we should be able to use the symmetry in the sculpt mode to.
Doesn't feel the most centered.
You can also we can also do it this way. So if you go into edit mode, or actually from object mode, we can use another modifier called the Mirror Modifier.
Mm-hmm.
So this essentially creates, a mirror version of the mesh on the other side. And then if you go into tab and delete one of those sides, you can see that I now have an exact mirror
Oh, okay.
of the mesh on the other side.
Okay. I gotta like figure out how to center this thing better first. So I just do, like, is there a way to like do that like more conveniently than like
Oh yeah, so
snap it to the center? I noticed my the model isn't really centered either.
oh, is he not?
Somehow slightly off centered. You see that?
Yeah.
I don't know where
So
that
if you select your model, and then all these should be zeroed out. So see how your X, Y, and Z have some numbers?
I must have accidentally dragged it or something.
Yeah. So you can go through, if you click on it and just zero tab, zero tab, zero tab, zero tab, zero tab.
Yeah.
You could go through like that.
Zero,
Scale is 1, 1, 1, and then everything else is 0.
Okay. Cool.
There, that should line them up. The same. You could do the same with the with your sphere too. One thing actually you probably want to do is take your, see how I went into edit mode and moved it up, and my origin point's still like at the center, my little orange dot. Mm-hmm. So you might want to take your sphere and reset its position, and then drag it up to the head spot in edit mode instead of in object mode.
Oh, I did that thing, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, now go into edit mode and then just select everything.
All right.
With A, and then drag it on up there.
Oh my god, it's so clumsy in here.
That's all right. It's only your second time.
Fair enough. Navigating around. It's a totally different paradigm than the stuff I usually do.
So if you
And
hold
then
Z,
I'm gonna
hit
right.
Z, it should lock there. You go. Now it won't be off-center.
Yeah,
Yeah, nice.
cool. Feeling.
And that should be good. We can work from that. We can sculpt it into place.
Yeah, I'm feeling okay about that. Like maybe I move it forward a smidge or something like that on the Y.
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah, I did.
Just like.
Just so it kind of, lines up a little bit.
Yeah, a reasonable starting spot.
Yeah, nice. And then you can do the mirror modifier thing if you want to.
Right. So add modifier. That's generate mirror.
Nice.
And then I now delete half.
Yeah, you can delete half before or after.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Oops.
Yeah, you got it.
Delete versus, okay.
Sweet, there you go.
Sweet.
Cool. Okay, now we're ready to jump into sculpt mode. So up here in your different mode options with your circle selected, which it works that way too. You can do it from edit mode. You just go into sculpt mode, and then you'll have all your different sculpting tools over here. And when you draw on it, you should see it. It should sculpt on both both ends. And then if you hold shift down, it inverts whatever brush you have. So the basic brush is just like it's just kind of draw brush. So it's a real basic, just adds volume to whatever you're sculpting. So if you hold shift and do it, it subtracts that volume instead. A good one that I like to start out with when I'm doing faces, at least, and kind of just getting a general shape, is the grab brush, because then you can sort of like actually start to shape these, and then holding shift. Actually, hold on, I messed up there. Shift is smooth. It's control that is that inverts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So shift is just a smooth. Control is actually invert. My bad. So you can start to like between the grab brush and the regular draw brush, you can do a lot. So, and it should stay symmetrical. Oh, one thing you might want to turn on in your mirror modifier over there is the clipping button. That way it won't like split apart. So the vertices in the center will stay together. Mm-hmm. The only thing with this, doing the mirror modifier this way, is that you can only draw on one side. So if you were to use the mirror modifier thingy or the symmetry thing with the sculpt mode, you could draw on either side. See how you can't grab on the mirrored side?
Yes.
So, but you can start to sort of like form sort of a head shape.
I got into some weird brush and made some weird wacky results somehow.
Yeah, you should be able to just smooth it out, and it should go back to.
It's like using like the draw tool or something.
Yeah, and just hold shift on there.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. See, we'll go right back to normal. It's pretty. It's fairly non-destructive with the sculpt tools, which is nice. You can pretty easily get back to what you were.
And it's definitely not like super intuitive, but
yeah, it's a little bit weird. It's weird kind of doing it with the X mirror on, because typically you can draw on either side, but it's a good place to start at least.
Yeah.
So, obviously, if you're doing this, you probably would want to look at a reference, of a human face. But you can sort of get a general shape down. Oh, that's driving me crazy there. So, and check your angles and stuff. Make sure it's not too boxy.
I don't know if this is a human face that I'm sculpting or not anymore.
So, with that, we can also add in. No, I haven't used this tool very much. Where's it at? So it's a little bit weird to me, but there's this multi-res tool that's sort of like, it's a newer modifier, and it's sort of like the Subdivide Surface modifier that we used at first. But this one actually, like, you can kind of go back and forth. It's a little bit weird. I don't quite understand it, but and it doesn't like to work with the Mirror Modifier. Maybe I have to go. No. I move beyond non-deforming modifiers. Why don't you want to work with the Mirror Modifier? It may just not. Oh, not supported in sculpting mode. So I guess that won't work for us. But we can actually, we can go into edit mode if we wanted to and add more, subdivide our shape, and then, you know, get more detailed with the sculpt if we wanted
I
to.
see, yeah.
So, I said this isn't necessarily the best way to sculpt, but it's a good start, at least to.
I kind of get the idea. I'm trying to figure out, like, get the feel for the different tools, but they don't feel like I'm just like mushing around on a blob.
Yeah, I think because the resolution is so low is what
yeah.
is confusing. So if we, how about real quick, open a new thing of Blender. You should be able to just like, if you go to File, New, it might want you to cancel. So if you just like open a new window, like a whole, like right click on Blender down on the desktop or something, and open a new. There you go. And then once this thing pops up, we'll start a sculpting file. And then see, this gives you a little bit higher resolution mesh, and you can kind of see more like what the brushes actually do.
Okay, yeah, there you go. That, yeah, totally. Like, feel like it wasn't like actually making it bigger before. It was like making it smaller.
Right. It's
So this is just like a way higher res.
Yeah, this is quite a bit higher resolution. So we were working at a really low poly count before. So it's kind of hard to tell what the brushes really do.
Totally.
That's not what I wanted to do. So this should give you kind of a better idea of what these do.
Yeah, totally.
And of course, you know, most of the time you'd want to use a tablet for this stuff, because then you can, you know, particularly with like the pressure sensitivity that you get with a tablet pen, really help.
For sure, that makes sense.
So, and by default, the X mirror is not on, or the mirror modifier.
Right.
So if you want to turn that on, if I go to a new sculpting thing, and then up in the top bar up here, there's the little mirror symbol. You can turn on the X mirror, and then you see that it will be mirrored across. So
I found some weird control.
whoa, yeah, that's the masking. Ooh.
That's
Kind of like an alien.
That's like a weird glitch. See, this is like the kind of like fun, weird glitchy. I'm like, oh, I'm like interested in like this like weird thing. Oops. So like, if I wanted to like try and like, I've somehow like destroyed the resolution here.
So you could, you should be able to just smooth that out if you wanted to.
So I just think it's just like struggling to do it because it's so wacky.
There's probably some other.
Something I did something weird. Yeah, like of course, like the first thing I'm gonna do is like try and break it.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, you got to see where you could, how far you can push it. So. Object mode, straight smooth. Sculpt. I don't know what this creature is going to be, but it's going to have a nose.
Okay, I'm going to.
You want to head back to our.
I'm just gonna start. So new sculpting file, and then you went straight to that modifier.
Mm-hmm. It's up here on the very top. So this is actually how you're supposed to do it with sculpting. Yeah. So X mirror. There you go.
Cool.
Yeah. So now it's.
Oh, I was like, oh, this feels really weird, but I like didn't have my model centered. At the
you
top.
undid.
Yeah, I see exactly what happened. Getting used to it.
Yeah, sculpting's pretty fun. It's a totally different beast than everything else.
I don't understand the difference between like the blob tool and like the other one.
So
Or that's inflate or like
yeah,
blob.
there's inflate and there's blob.
Well, blob makes a lot more sense. It seems to be blobbier.
Yeah, they're both like a little bit different in what they do. Although it's kind of hard to like really. I guess if so, blob the fall off on it is a lot harsher. So you can kind of build it up better, and then inflate kind of just like adds more volume to a specific spot. Inflate's good for like if you've got arms or ears or things like that, and then blob just sort of adds more actual volume. Let's see. What this thing is.
Well, let's just like freestyle this dude's mouth parts until something.
Ooh, it looks like some kind of insect.
It's becoming an insectile. Through no real intention of my own here.
Yeah, you could definitely come up with some wacky stuff in sculpting.
So how do I like snake hook?
Oh yeah, that's a fun one.
Oh, okay. Fucking all right. Snake hook.
Yes, this one is how you kind of make, like, say you wanted to do like a neck or body or something.
Or like.
You can use that to create.
Oh, dude, snake hook. I'm loving snake hook over here. Oh, dude, I think I found my new fun thing.
It's kind of like a ferret, I guess. I don't know what I'm making. What is it?
It's kind of fun, like snake hooking.
Yeah.
and
the
then
snake hook
smoothing it,
is a cool tool. So
and
your
then
next,
seeing what it does.
like,
You know.
thing to make that look better with the snake hook in particular is the Dyno Topology up here. So you want to use this sparingly because it can get kind of crazy. But essentially, if you turn this on, so without it, you know, you can pull this out and you see how it kind of gets all messed up.
Yeah.
But with the snake hook, or with the Dyno Topology and snake hook, you can essentially drag this out forever and it creates new topology for you. So like say I wanted to do a whole like arm right here, I would use that and I could just like
Just drag and drag and drag.
drag it kind of out and you can see it actually like creates new mesh for me.
Yeah, instead of stretching the previous mesh or whatever.
Exactly. So you can kind of, you know, make the rest of, usually you only really want to use this when you're adding whole new like appendages or a lot of extra mesh.
Which is kind of what I'm trying to do right now, actually.
Yeah.
Is like,
And then you can go back in.
oh, the symmetry broke.
It's probably a good idea actually to shade smooth, and then you can turn it off and then smooth out. Oops, not that much. What you've done.
Something happened to the symmetry.
Oh wow. Sometimes it's not perfect. Sometimes it does get messed up if it's if it loses track of what you're working on, if things get a little too crazy.
Which they
I've definitely experienced that before.
Yeah, things got really wacky over here, so I'm just gonna try and smooth things out a little bit. So I can turn Dyno off, and then that'll like start behaving more like normal again.
You can also do a good thing is to try out is the remesh, which you can actually select. You probably want to do, you know, somewhere in the 0.035 of the default's pretty good. And then if you remesh, it will like actually add kind of it will add a lot more vertices, but it will kind of make everything even. So it's kind of an even spread of, see, I have mine got messed up here too on the mirror. You can do a symmetrize function, and that should fix it.
Cool. Yeah, it did. So or you're just blobbing around right now. I'm having difficulty getting this thing to smooth as much as I would like to.
So if you go to the actual smooth tool, which is this one right here, if you bring up your strength, that might help a little bit. Okay. Sometimes the smooth needs to have a little extra kick to it. That, or you might, like on the really thin pieces right there, you might try that inflate brush and see if you can get like add in some add in a bit of volume to those appendages.
Right, yeah, so I can access them or whatever.
Right, so it's a little easier. It is difficult texturing or sculpting.
A little narrow, guys.
Yeah, if it's like really.
Yeah, got ambitious. So like, I'd like to like. I want to like. Oh, there we go. I just like smoothed it away, almost. So if I go back into like edit mode, I could like just like chop those vertices out, huh?
Yeah, you could.
Potentially.
Definitely. Yeah, if you just wanted to delete those.
And then like smooth the result over.
Yeah, you might just use the remesh actually. See if that works for you.
Okay.
So if you go back into Sculpt and do remesh and then change, yeah. See how it got rid of them?
Yeah, janked up the rest of the model though.
Yeah, you can do a lower, so if you go back to remesh and do like, set that to 0.03 or something. Yeah, try that. There you go.
Yeah, that's true. I'll allow it.
Should be a little bit better. Gosh, I haven't sculpted in a long time without my tablet. Here's the Oops. I want it to flatten. Weird little arms.
Hey, you got a little guy going, huh?
But I really like the grab brush for doing like big edits. Like if you have, you want to make some drastic changes to the overall like structure. The grab brush is great for that.
I'm just seeing the limits of elastic deform. Really janked my mesh up. Man, what a weird program this is.
Yeah.
What is this thing that we're doing?
I like yours. I like
it got really weird.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can make them weird quick. I don't usually. I feel like it's honestly easier to do really creepy things than it is to do like kind of more, soft, cutesy animals and stuff like that.
That makes sense.
Just because like it's so. You can definitely easily make really bizarre stuff.
It's kind of like, I feel like I want to get some more like tentacle-y action than like this kind of angular thing. Man, we shouldn't have listened to so much Venga Boys right before this. Now it's stuck in my head.
So I guess we got into the sculpting stuff, and I don't know if you want to do just continue with this or do some of the armature stuff, or
I'm cool. I don't know. Like, I mean, you see where my weird model's at, so like,
Yeah.
you tell me. Like, is it ready to like make his little tentacles wiggle or what? Like, should I keep like chomping away at it for a bit?
yeah, we can keep messing with it.
Man, 3D modeling in 2D though is like so weird. What a weird thing. Blech. Oops. Okay, so I'm seeing like the difference between like the different grabs.
Yeah, I think definitely the elastic grab or the regular grab is the one I usually like a little better.
The pose tool is kind of fun. So I really want to just like lop these bits off. What's the best way to do that?
Let's see. I think There's some tools that I haven't really tried that might work. There's a mesh within the box as you move the brush. I'm going to try this one before. Maybe that's not what we want. Don't know a lot of the fancy, how to use the fancy.
Totally. I just like extruded this weird thing and I like can't get rid of it.
You might try the, see what the, where's this at? See what the Simplify brush does for you.
Where's that?
It's a little ways down. It kind of looks like a...
Oh, this is a scrolling menu. I didn't even see
yeah.
that. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Oh my gosh.
That do anything? Doesn't seem to.
No.
I thought maybe the trim would work, but...
Where's box trim or whatever?
Yeah, I tried that. I don't think... And it won't let you just smooth it out totally.
Oh, is it? This computer did not like that.
Uh-oh. Yeah. That's weird. Yours is actually trying to do something, though, huh? Because mine didn't want to do anything.
It is not happy.
Uh-oh. Well, congratulations, you crashed Blender for the first time.
Woohoo! We've all been there. Oh,
Won't be the last.
Here's what it did.
Oh, yours worked.
Is it lopped a weird box out of it and left it a weird...
Huh.
So what does it mean when it's like a different color like that?
I'm not sure. I think that just means that maybe there's still mesh there. It's just like not really.
I see.
I don't know if that just like trims it to hide it or something, or if it trims it and actually deletes it. I'm not 100% sure.
Oh my god, I'm struggling with this so much. I just want it to do its thing. Do something. Either be bigger or get smaller. Take your pick.
Yeah, maybe the inflate brush would work.
Yeah, I'm working on that right now. I couldn't get it to grab enough of the faces to actually inflate itself, but I think it's doing it now. And then I'd smooth that, right? To like, oh, smoothing makes it all tiny though.
Yeah. Unless you
Remeshing
like really
it probably.
bring down your smooth radius a lot.
Oh, that's what it is, which I like. Oh yeah, there we go.
Or the strength of it down quite a bit should help.
It's becoming less terrible.
Yeah, sculpting's pretty fun. You can do a lot of cool stuff.
I don't know what this is, but it's something.
It is something. It's pretty good for sculpt.
So far. Thanks, Jay.
Yeah.
Couldn't have done it without you. Barely can do it with you. Oh man, I feel like I could do this for hours and hours and not get anywhere also and have a great time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's can be pretty it's a easy way to lose track of a few hours.
I believe it.
For sure.
Hey, that's looking like something.
It's like a Futurama character.
Yeah, something. Something's up over here though. Oh, I didn't like that either. Oops. This may have actually crashed it. We'll see. I accidentally remeshed it with a tiny voxel size.
Uh-oh.
It's not gonna like that at all.
Yeah.
I can hear it complaining already. Got some upset CPU fans. Hasn't crashed yet. But I'll be really surprised if it's able to display what I'm trying to display. So like when you're done doing this sculpt, like do you rig a skeleton inside it? Is that the idea?
Yeah, there's usually another step to it, because you know how like dense this mesh is.
Right.
You don't really want to animate that. So a lot of times you would go back through and re-topologize. Essentially, you'd make a mesh over the top of this mesh, and like essentially create another mesh from this one as a reference, and use that instead to animate.
Okay.
Because these are usually too intensive.
Finally crashed.
To actually use as a thing. So there's kind of a whole nother step in there, typically. But you know, if you keep it pretty low poly, like we were doing with the other thing, you can kind of get away with it. You know, you could do some basic sculpting and then sort of just not make it too high resolution.
You cracked his like sternum open.
What's that?
It did something weird to his like chest.
Yeah, that tool's a little bit strange. It's meant for like I mean, it works for arms and stuff like that really well. Over there. But this will probably use the inflate brush. Oh, I forgot something. There. Have we been going 20 minutes? Oh no, we've been going almost an hour. Uh-oh. We're
gonna be in big trouble, man.
I know.
Got something real weird going on here right now.
Oh, did you start? Oh yeah, you lost your alien.
Yeah, it crashed big time. It's all right.
Oh my goodness.
Live and learn. I'm gonna start with something different now. Just Try and do some weird guy's mouth here.
Yeah, it's an interesting challenge. It's a totally different like way of modeling for sure.
Totally. And like visualizing it as like topology and not like color or whatever. It's like just like different, you know? I don't know. There's something that's just like weird about it.
Definitely, I mean, definitely takes some getting used to. It's been a while since I've done a whole lot. You get my tablet out again and work on stuff.
Totally.
But it's great for like getting your ideas out or just like coming up with some random, you know, some random things. If you just try to, you know, visualize something.
Totally.
It's definitely cool to do with character designs and stuff like that.
Let's see if I can extrude some teeth for this guy. Got a weird mouth. I'm gonna try and
Definitely want to work from kind of like, you know, a basic shape down to, you know, whatever it is you, whatever your end goal is. Whoa there.
totally.
So we're very quiet on this stream.
Yes,
Very
it's so like intensive and focused. Like I love it. It's good. It's like me with the music stream, except it doesn't make any. I don't make any noise. You know, just the music makes noise for you. Makes it pretty easy. That was kind of successful.
I think clay strips is one of my other favorites. I enjoy using this brush quite a bit. Oops. No.
It's really hard to snake grab these things at the right angle. I'm gonna like pull them towards me, you know. Does everybody do that?
What's that?
Like I want to like use this like snake grab thing and like pull it towards the my perspective.
Oh, I don't
You know, because I can't like see the spot I want to grab. Like I don't know. Maybe I just need to like get more creative with my zooms.
Well, that's cool.
You like it?
Yeah.
It's like a killer tomato kind of energy. So you're like, why isn't that doing anything now? Ah! Making music seems so easy all of a sudden. Snake grabbing in much anything right now.
It may not have enough to grab on, possibly.
It's just like not really, I'm like having trouble getting it to do. Oh, there it goes. Like anything, anywhere. There it goes. Oh, so like the mesh might have been stretched too thin already.
Could be.
Kind of thing.
If it doesn't have much to grab on,
I see.
it may not like.
I get it. I get it. I get it. Cool. I think that was my problem. All right, this dude's got some fangs.
Nice. Ooh. It's like spiky Pac-Man.
Yeah, it's like a bad Pac-Man.
Evil Pac-Man.
Evil Pac-Man. Probably supposed to call it like Pac-Man.exe or something. Kind of got some like Beholder kind of energy. I'm like, why is this so weird? It's because it's got a tiny radius. Maybe that's a bit much.
Well, what happened to him? Pinocchio.
Just seeing what I could do. Oh my god.
Nice. Ooh.
I can't remesh it or I lose my nice tea fees. I think I'm giving this guy a butt. Gotta give him a little butt back here. harder to do about than I thought. On the back of this head. Yeah, man, this is the quietest stream I think we've ever done. I feel like we should have some music going.
Some
We should have thought about it.
non-licensed music.
Yeah, I could put on some tunes. We could. Are you sure we don't want to just listen to the Venga Boys?
I don't know how YouTube's gonna like that.
Yeah.
That's the only problem.
Man, YouTube doesn't like the party.
No.
Not
without permission.
All right. Copyright takedown's coming. All right, let's see if I can get this guy some. Oh, it's sometimes it's hard to tell. Like some of the tools build it up and some take it away.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're looking at it from a certain angle, it's hard to tell which way it's going. It's kind of interesting.
I like him. He's cool.
He's getting really weird really fast. So. Uh-oh. I broke it again.
Holy cow. How in the world? Oh, what? What did you do? That's crazy.
That's me breaking the software. Woo. One of my many talents. Oh my god. Yeah, trying to figure. I can see that the reference for the head shape thing would be real helpful. So I'm like just like poking a weird bag of clay right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what should I make this character look like?
Man. I feel like some of these tools are like so contextual, or like I assume they are because I don't feel like they're doing much.
Very specific thing that they do, yeah. For sure.
This one's really shredding my model here. Oh man, this dude is a mess right now. This guy's seen some better days. Poor shapeless lump of a person here. Oh!
The blob brush is really good for like caving in like the mouth and stuff like that, and the nose, nostrils. Works really good for that.
Uh-oh.
It's looking like
So it's looking like sharky.
Like, yeah.
Shark energy here. Oh wait, no, it's Batman.
It's bad. Is it?
Oh.
This must be a very exciting stream to watch.
I know, right? Silent sculpting.
I mean, people are, they'll upload 2-hour-long sculpting time lapses. So,
Who wouldn't want to watch one of those in real time?
yeah, in real time, maybe not.
Except where the end result never became good because it was me doing it. Trying to run with this shark theme and give him a dorsal fin here on the back of his head. Like some sort of shark person, but it is not going well. That almost looked like something. God, he's such a lump. Poor guy. I feel terrible for him. How did you become such a weird lump, dude?
Oops.
Aha, there we go. I think I need to play with the radius and strength controls more is like my problem.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's where it really helps with the, with the stylus, because then you can just, that's all
That's
sort
like,
of, at
that's,
least the
that's
strength.
pen pressure or whatever.
Yeah, the strength controls are all controlled by
Well, I got some sort of weird funky fish head man
yeah.
or something. It was looking cooler a minute ago. I don't know. Actually, maybe I'm being really generous to myself if I'm saying that it ever looked cool. Dang, you got teeth already in yours? Ah, jeez. Someone knows what they're doing.
So I usually like to do the teeth as like a separate group of objects because they usually don't have to be, you know, it's a little easier to you know, make fine control, and you can sort of
Yeah, that's cool. Man, it's really about, there's just like so much of like doing the right steps in the right order to like place things where you want them to go and like thinking ahead. It's really interesting.
For sure. Like these, I can think if there's a way to mirror. Yeah. Let's see. Is that the way I want to go? Oh, that works.
Yeah, dude.
And then with this, I can turn
That's
this
cool.
back on and do the. This is where like turning on the connected and things like that help a lot too. Let me have that one.
Squooshing all the teeth to where they make sense.
Yeah. Then you know, not that I'm trying to be too accurate here, but
Sure. Looks pretty good. I guess also like something for me, like not knowing like what people do when you're done with this stage, you know. Like I guess I'm curious like how much of like added detail like goes beyond this like your guy here is pretty detailed at this point, you know.
right.
But like you know like would if you were getting really serious, would you just get like way more in depth here, or would you like go to like doing like skinning it and like texturing?
Yeah, so if
Stuff on
say
top
if
of
this was
this.
like what I was going for, I would probably, so my next part would be, well, I probably set up something for the eyes, and then, so I probably go, usually eyes are done, so I just added a UV sphere, I'll add the mirror modifier to that, and then, actually, before I do that, I'm gonna make it so I can see it here. So I'll add in UV sphere, and down here I want to change these settings so that it's not as large. So I'll go 16, 16 is fine. And then I want to align it so it faces my view, so you can see see how the UV sphere has like these rings. So essentially that's like, you know, the pieces of your eye essentially,
Right.
that you can kind of use those as a reference. Now you have to do this before you add anything because this goes away, the add menu, if you do anything to it. So say if I add the mirror, it goes away. Then edit mode, grab these. I'm gonna get rid of the back half of it because I don't really need that. And then I kind of scale it down to fit where the eyes go. And then, so with this now, I probably rotate these these out. And then I might go back into, it's good to add your eyes fairly early on, because when you're sculpting, it gives you a point of reference to like where the eye socket should go, how it should be positioned. So I'll probably want to move this in, and I can sort of like re-sculpt this to fit, sort of like make that the eyelid sort of.
Cool.
And then once that is done, so like say, it looks a little weird from this angle, but yeah, I want this to come in a little bit. So say like this is what you want. So then I would go into object mode, and what I'd start doing was making like remeshing this. So this is kind of where like knowing what good topology looks like for animation comes in. So what I would start with usually is a plane, actually, in this instance, and I would go into, I'd add the mirror modifier so that that's ready to go. And whoops, I want to make sure I'm in edit mode. And then you can't see the plane. There it is. Enable clipping, and then as I bring these together, see they'll kind of get stuck. Now I want to be able to see through here. So here's my plane. I'm going to kind of put this, I guess I'll start with AI since I was talking about them, somewhere in here. And what I'm going to do is use, we kind of talked about it a little bit, the snapping tool here to actually snap this to the like actual face of this character. So like when I grab this, you can see that that little orange circle means that it's like following this. So I can start to like bring this in and make my sometimes if you go, I don't want to do visibility, viewport, what am I looking for? In front, there we go. So hold on, I'll make this a little bigger so everybody can see here. So yeah, so with this, I can sort of start like building out this character and sort of redoing the topology. So one thing I want to look out for is the eyes. So typically with the eyes, maybe it would be better off doing it this way and then pulling this up. And then maybe I want an extra loop cut here just so I can start bringing this around, because you want to have around most of your eyes and your nose and your mouth, you want to have an edge loop here, which that means just like a loop of faces all the way around those kind of core pieces of the face.
So you're basically like remeshing it manually, one polygon at a time.
Essentially, yeah. There are quicker ways to do it. There are some shortcuts. Of course, doing it by hand is going to be the best result. But there are some like ways you could make it quicker. But I like this process actually. It's not too bad, and you kind of get to know your mesh really well.
Right.
So you can sort of if you see any problems that you want to fix, or see like there's a good start to the eyes, and then you do the same for the nose. So we could just come down here and start extracting this out for the nose, and then say like, oops, I don't want that. Say like right here, we can create our edge loop for the nostrils and stuff. So this kind of goes around and around, kind of tucks in right here, because we want that definition So this is what's like box modeling essentially. This is a different style of modeling characters. We can bring this together and then it should clip there. Make sure all these are connected where I want them to be. And then that gives us the start of that, and we can pull this out and pull around. So yeah, this is typically the second step. If you're actually going to use this mesh for modeling or for like animation and stuff.
So does this like give you then like a low res and a high res version of the same thing essentially?
Yeah. So what you can do is actually sometimes people will bake out the high res version and then put that and use that high res version on the low res model for like shadows and stuff if you want like a higher resolution shadow map, but it's not absolutely necessary. Like you can get away with not having it.
And that's like because like you kind of covering the like simpler geometry with like texture and stuff.
Right. So here I just want to make sure that it all lines up. So this is a square, but it's not a very nice square. So maybe I want to add a little extra geometry here. And kind of get and then, so like here's kind of a weird spot. Maybe we want to, I think about this a little more. So you want to usually have your vertices all about the same, but I want to keep this loop. So in order to do that, I might go, oops, like that, and then maybe combine these in here. Why do I keep grabbing it? There we go. There. It's not too bad. So yeah, this is kind of the second step after sculpting. And then you do the same, a loop around the mouth and usually around the ears. And then there's usually one like all the way around the face. Let's see if I can find a good example over here. It doesn't matter like what it is. Most, anything with two eyes and a mouth and a nose, like usually has the same, you want to follow the same general rules. Let's see here. I think this is a good example. So like, you can see the loop cuts around the different parts of the face. Oops. Around the eyes, around the nose, and then there's a loop right here between the eyes and the nose, which I could easily, add in. So it's, so let's see, yeah, nose, mouth, around the bottom of the mouth. So I'd had one probably like right here that goes all the way around that part. Typically, you would probably have your character in a resting pose. Like this is a little extreme, but gets the idea across. But yeah, that's going from that to sculpting to animation, because usually the lower resolution your image is, or your model is, the better.
Right.
So yeah. Do you want to look at the meshes or the animation stuff real quick with the?
Sure. I don't know if this guy that I got will be able to move around much, but or whatever I've got left on my screen. It's got me logged out. I was so watching you for so long. Let's see if I can find my way into my own computer here. This guy is a really sad blob.
Sad blob. He definitely looks like one of those blobfish.
Yeah, totally.
Dudes. So like back in our other Blender file.
Oh, yeah, where did our other Blender file go? Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Even weirder head on this one.
Now that you've learned some sculpting, you can kind of figure out how you want to do a basic head shape, and then from there you can actually just oh yeah, Dyno Topology doesn't work with the Mirror Modifier either, so we'll have to do our body from scratch. So yeah, that's part of the reason why it's better to use, but our head doesn't necessarily need to be connected. We could do a box body. Oops.
Box body.
Box body. So, what I think about this is that, there we go. It's pretty easy to get a basic character set up. Oops. Off clipping for a second. Just
Arm builder.
add some arms. Line them up here. Scale down. Maybe add some.
Shoulder pads.
Yeah. Make this the neck. Add in some loop cuts for where the arm bends. Of course, you know, it goes from this to however super detailed you want it to be.
Sure.
Usually like to add, I'll add we'll do the legs connected so we can see it, how it works. And then, of course, I've got to double check going the other way, too. I'm going to add some more loop cuts in here. There we go. Wide boy.
Wide boy.
Scale that in for us. The Y. And then just make sure that all this is sort of lined up. Can make some feet here. Add a
Easy foot maker. Look at you.
Oh, what's that?
Easy foot maker.
Oh, yeah.
It's just fast. You made a lot of feet in your day, huh? Yeah, get a little junk in the trunk there.
Yeah. Give him a little bit of something. He's not totally flat.
There you go. It's kind of built like me. Big butt, big belly.
Can check our top view. You can see our arms. So this bend in the arms is on purpose to tell the software exactly like where it is that it needs to bend or which way it needs to bend.
Right.
Otherwise, without that, it doesn't quite know. You'll see here in a second, we'll like generate the rig. I can actually probably delete this face in here. And then get this part of the neck. I'll do connected only. I'm gonna. There you go. And maybe with at least this part selected, I'll add a subdivide and I'll just smooth this out. Smooth vertice, smooth vertice, smooth, and then sort of with the proportional editing tool on, you can kind of give it some extra shape to it. It's already kind of taken on that and looking more like a person, sort of.
Hips don't lie, as they say.
Yep, I get some. There you go.
Dang, dude. Speedy.
Pretty quick little dude here. If our head doesn't necessarily need to be connected. It's not important, really. But of course you can connect it if you want to. But this makes it so that, like, say if you had a really high resolution like face, the body of your character could be a lot lower res, and it's not, it's not a big of deal. So, but the skeleton is a nice reference. Definitely gives you a better, gives you a point to start with. So, yeah. And of course, arms can be connected as well. But there's our basic dude. Doesn't have any hands, but that's okay. So we give him some hands. Let's give him some hands over here.
Poor guy.
We might as well. Add in a cube. Turn off clipping so it doesn't stick. Scale her down. Grab it. And scale it. And scale it. Oops. Some square hands. Oop, that was not lined up at all. Definitely check your angles, because it's not from one angle may look perfect and another it's totally off. Okay, there. All right, let's do this. So once you got your character, you can go to your armature here, and this particular one that we added has a generate rig button here in the data properties panel. So if we hit that, you see this whole fancy thing pops up, and it's a lot. It's kind of intimidating. But we can go in here. What we want to do is go into the layers of the skeleton and find these bone. I think it's these ones. If we go into edit mode. Yeah. No. Wait. Not those ones. These ones? Yes. Okay. We want these deformation bones, because these are the deformed bones are the ones that affect the mesh. So from here, with these on, we can shift. So left click the model and then shift left click the skeleton and do Control P and armature with automatic weights. So every bone, every vertice of your mesh is assigned a weight relative to that bone in the skeleton. So like the head bone should be weighted 100% to the vertices of the head, essentially. So that's what the weights are. So when I click that, it's a really basic mesh, so it should be quick. And if I go in, if I hit N to bring up the properties panel thing, extra properties over here, you can see I can toggle all these on and off, all the different controls. And then our meta rig here, we can actually just hide that because we don't need it. And yeah, so now we have basically our characters rigged up. So if we go into pose mode with the skeleton selected and then grab this, he's all rigged up and ready to animate.
Trippy. So
we can turn on, one thing I do like to turn on is
so the hands and feet are locked and everything else is
yeah, so
by default anyways.
Yeah, that's the IK and FK controls. So essentially inverse and forward kinematics for your mesh. So you can see over here, this is IK arm and this is IK arm. Right now they're in IK mode, which just means like, hold on, I gotta change that setting real quick. I don't like that I have to, there's a setting in here and I don't know why it's not the default. Where's it at? Tab for pie menu. That way I could just like go like this and change to whatever object mode, pose mode. So yeah, he's in IK right now. So that means it essentially is just going to follow wherever the hand bone is, and the arms will adjust to that. So
That makes sense. So when you go to animate, you're not like pose the hand, pose the forearm, pose the elbow. You just put the hand where it goes, and the arm logically like manipulates itself to where like an arm would go.
pretty much,
That's the idea.
So a lot of times if you're doing, there's one more thing I wanted to do, viewport in front, there we go. So say, whoa there. Say your character is, so, okay. Well, for with inverse kinematics, I feel like with the feet, almost, 99% of the time, they're going to be in IK because when your feet are on the ground, they stay on the ground most of the time.
Right.
So like it makes sense when you're animating, let's turn on IK feet, that, those feet should be locked where they are. And then you can kind of move around, with the feet since they're touching a surface, they're fine. But like when we move our torso, most of the time our arms don't stay still unless we're grabbing something. It's like,
Right.
oh, he's pulling on, he's grabbing something with this arm,
Right.
It's locked on there. Or say, here's a better example. We have a cube here. Here's our friend's cube. And he is trying to push on this cube or his hand. So he like glued his hand to the wall here. Like it would be, here he's got his hand on the wall and he's like leaning up against the wall, right? And then he glues his hand to the wall. He can't take it off.
Right.
But this hand isn't glued. So we want to switch this hand to be, there's a little slider here. This is IK, FK. If we slide this over, you'll see that it will move. And then now it's going to follow the left arm FK. So this one is the forward kinematics, which is kind of probably a little easier to sort of see what it's doing because it's just following the torso essentially. So like this hand would just be by their side and not follow with the torso essentially. So now that we have the torso on, what did I do to that arm? It's a little bit weird, but there we go. But now if I move the body, see the arm stays there.
Yeah. Okay.
So like he's trying to pull his arm off the wall or like leaning up against the wall, doing some wall push-ups.
Nice.
So, that's kind of the difference between the IK and FK. Now, if you were doing a handstand, or your character was jumping and their feet were off the ground, then, I would switch it to, I would switch these to IK or to FK as well. But like, say we're animating Spider-Man here, you can just have the legs stuck to the ground or somebody climbing,
Totally.
It's like climbing this rock or this cube.
So this plugin seems to have done a ton of work in like creating this skeleton for you. Like creating your own skeleton seems like a daunting task, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it can be. A lot of this you might as well like just use the plugins.
Right.
Because doing the same thing on your own would take a while. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's definitely time consuming. And if you're just like, if you're not super worried about, if you're not doing something very unique to your needs, if you don't need a special kind of rig to do something, most of the time the Rigify rig is gonna work. And it took like 2 seconds.
For sure. For sure.
So, and it can do, it can do everything you really would want in a rig to do. But you can do it. You can go into object mode. You can add yourself a single bone, and then go ahead and edit it and make your own rig, and then add things to it and make constraints and all this stuff, and go into pose mode. I can actually like animate this too. It's essentially the same thing.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I could see like how, yeah, neat. So yeah, like if you're trying to animate something that wasn't like a person, you might need to go and make your own rig for it.
Yeah. I think this one has like some cool animals.
Mm-hmm. That could be like starting points.
So there's a bird. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, there's some actually really cool starting points for things. There's a shark.
Oh, neat. Yeah.
And I think this one the basics has a quadruped too. So any kind of,
Mm-hmm. This looks familiar. I've seen dogs or wolves rigged up with that thing.
Yeah, we've had some animated wolves in here in the Mars space before. But yeah, it's super fun to play with. Animation is a lot of fun. So I mean, this is basically the same as you were doing last time with the table and chairs. You select your mesh, you hit I and add in your location rotation. Mm-hmm. And then you go a few frames, and then you make your changes that you want to make. So he's like sliding up the wall. It's gonna look kind of weird. Select everything again, location rotation, and now he'll kind of slide up the wall. Oops.
Yeah. Whoop. Looking good.
Yep, that's the idea. So
cool. It's not. I mean, it's like I feel like this program really the most daunting thing is like the amount of information on the screen and also like all the key commands. Like it's pretty heavy.
So a lot of them you can find like through
sure.
Through menus, but yeah, I think the best feature that you could possibly turn on is back in the preferences. And in the key mapping at the spacebar action right here is I usually set it to search. I think by default it's on play.
Yeah.
But when you search, say I want to, I don't know, paste a pose. I just have to kind of start searching for something, and it comes up with that. And it tells you exactly where it is. So under pose, paste pose, propagate on selected keyframe, it tells you where it is, or you can, what can we add? Add pose, add IK bone, So if you ever lose a setting and you know that it's a thing you can do, it's super easy to find in that search menu. So it's just space, and then you just start typing whatever you're looking for.
That's super cool.
That's a really handy thing. I use that all the time because I constantly forget where stuff is and have to go, look it up and find things. So
yeah, it's very visually dense too. So just having a search function seems great. Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you, is there like a limit to how far you can stretch?
Nope. Yeah, it's this particular rig doesn't have constraints like that. So
you could set them.
Some of them do. Some of them do constrain you, so you like can't actually
like rotate the hips like 270 degrees or something.
Right. Some of them will, but this one does not have constraints as far as like, so you can just like those IK bones that are locked here, you can pull them out as far as you possibly want. And then they'll go back to normal if you get close enough. So, it's just something you have to look out for. Totally. I don't know if there's a setting that you can turn that on or off. I don't think so. Not with this particular rig. Mm-hmm. See, then that's a little extra effort because you got to come in here and edit all the edit some of the constraints and stuff like that. So you saw this had like quite a few different layers and different types of bones here.
Right.
So like I believe, yeah, see these all have constraints.
So if you're animating a different part of the rig, it might or something. Or...
Yeah. So see how like these follow these, and then how much influence they have, and they're copying the transform of that or this. It's not, it's not too complicated, but it is pretty complicated. And I personally rather not.
Yeah, it's not the part you're trying to
mess with it if I don't have to.
Right, but I imagine it's the thing you build some assets for your project and then you have them.
Right, and if it's if it's a simple thing, like say, like I did before, say you've got let's make this a tree or something, and you want to make your tree kind of like its branches to sort of sway in the wind or something like that. You can easily add in make a skeleton for it that's not super complicated. Like I don't need it to really do a whole lot, so I'm not going to worry about it being all fancy like the human rig is.
Sure.
So it's going to be a terrible tree, but
pretty good.
Get an idea. We can turn on our proportional editing tool and sort of skew it around a little bit. There's a basic tree. And then you can add in go to your armature, single bone, grab that, take it over. I almost always do in front with these. So that's under the armature setting. You can just set it so that it shows up in front of it. Edit mode. Make some branches here. Make sure they line up. You can use proportional editing tool on these too, I believe. Or maybe it doesn't work with skeleton. I thought it did, but maybe it doesn't. These are definitely one of those things that you have to, definitely check from multiple angles to see if it lines up. Yeah. Because it's easy to miss it.
Yeah, especially with the crazy perspective crap that's happening right now.
Yeah.
Like it's really not easy to look at.
Makes it a little difficult for sure. The in front of kind of ruins that perspective.
Yeah.
You can't.
But I see why you're doing it. It makes sense.
But like you could also use this, which is a little better.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. It made sense to me. It was efficient.
But yeah, so then there's your thing. There's your skeleton. So you just shift, click, right click, Control P, parent with automatic weights. And then when I go into pose mode, then I can just rotate these, and you got branches that can move. And they follow the lowest bone in the chain. So if I move the trunk,
right,
it moves the whole thing. So you could sort of just like animate this really slow. Insert your location rotation. Sort of, oops, I want to go back. You go like 80 frames and make this go like it's sort of a really swaying in the wind. And then I can come back over here, copy, and go to 160, paste that frame. Oh, I can Shift D. I guess I can duplicate it. There we go. Make this the same. So if I start on the same keyframe that I end on, when it loops, it will, be identical. So.
It's kind of like a giant claw, like a terrifying giant hand. But I see what's going on.
It's a tree. I tried so hard.
you got so far, and
I don't know why. Oh, I gotta.
I'm sorry, I insulted your tree.
There we go. Yeah, and then you can go back through and say you want this to kind of like, so now you've got a swaying tree, and it will just go.
Man, so it's pretty easy to give it some bones and move it around. That's neat.
Our little dude stretching over here. So yeah, it's pretty simple. Like for basic stuff like that, it's super easy. Like say you had like a sign, like a shop sign or something that you wanted to sway back and forth, you could easily just add some bones to it and animate it that way. And so, yeah, there's cool stuff you can do with it. It's definitely just scratching the surface for sure. But
Sweet.
looks like we're getting close up on our 2-hour mark here.
Yeah, man.
How you feeling about all that?
I'm gonna need a lot of practice before I can do any of it, but
Right.
made sense to me at least, you know. So the whole thing's a little less intimidating looking.
I don't know why I was wearing my headphones the whole time. I wasn't monitoring us, so I'm sure we sound fine.
Just making it nice and harder to hear me.
Yeah, true.
Well, cool. Thanks for showing me that stuff, man.
Yeah, I know the sculpting's pretty fun. You can spend hours and hours in there and making crazy stuff. But cool. Well, thanks guys for tuning in today. I think I'll figure out what we're gonna do next week. I know we've done a lot of Blender stuff recently, but we might
be a little more because I got a gig.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. Cool. All right. Well, take it easy, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for watching, y'all.